Solid Shepard bringing you another video. And I'm doing a little bit different of a setup than I usually do on this video, as you guys can see. Kind of testing it out. Let me know what you think. I'm probably going to stick with this one for these kind of videos. I don't know, I just kind of like the presentation. Like, I know people like Sargon Avocado and stuff do kind of stuff like this. Might eventually end up paying some people to give me some original art, like finding someone on Twitter or something. The get a more personalized kind of look to it, but I'm kind of going for this kind of setup. Anyways, enough of that. Let me know what you guys think. Today, we are talking about something that I actually recorded this video already a couple days ago, but it was late at night, and I recorded it, and then the audio didn't work, and I kind of just said, screw it. Obviously, I'm uploading this video. I didn't throw it away completely, but I kind of just said I'm going to do it again later, and so I'm doing it now. So here we go. You guys have probably seen this. If you're on Twitter at all, you've probably seen this already. We got this. This is what superheroes would look like with realistic bodies. So I'm not going to go as in-depth as I did when I originally tried to record the video. I'm not going to go over the whole article, but basically there's this website called recovery.org, and they are an organization that deals with people's mental health and such, and they thought it was a good idea to try and recreate some of these superheroes and villains. Well, I guess it's just only, other than Harley Quinn, it's all superheroes, but they're trying to basically recreate them with what they call realistic body types. So let's just go ahead and I kind of see why they're doing it, but at the same time, if someone is fat, right? Like, if they're fat, they shouldn't. And here's the underlining theme you're gonna see with the whole thing, through this whole thing, is if people are fat, shouldn't they have something to aspire to, some kind of being, real or not, that they look up to and that they aspire to be like, instead of just being like, oh, well, you're fat and unhealthy, but that's just okay. We're just gonna make you believe it's okay to be that way, and then believe you're entitled to medical benefits and such, even though you are making yourself far more of a risk, and then the taxpayers have to basically pick up your bill. Is that what we're trying? Is that the message we're trying to send, or are we trying to send that it's better to be healthy? And like I said, something you guys will notice as we go through this is you never see a skinny, like an overly skinny or anorexic looking person, which is also unhealthy. But you never even just see the average skin, not really built, but just an average skinny looking person, which most people are supposed to look like. I feel like realistically, being fat is not realistic. It's not what I would think of your average person. Your average person's not going to be super built, but they're not going to be super fat either. They're not going to, they're going to be, I wouldn't say they're even going to be super skinny. They're going to be about average looking. And none of these people have that look. They're all fat. They're basically pushing fat acceptance without coming out and straight saying it. Anyways, let's go ahead and look. Like I said, I actually went over the actual article last time I did this, but we're just going to look at the pictures, because I don't want it to be as long as the last time, because I've already done this. I'm a little bit burnt out, but I really want to get this out because I feel like this is important. So here we go. We got Superman. So we look at the left picture, the actual original picture, and he's got a six-pack, and he's got some, he's ripped. But I've seen some way more unrealistic depictions of Superman than this one. This really isn't unrealistic. Anybody who goes to the gym regularly and lifts, and doesn't eat like trash, can achieve this within a year, or not a year, within a couple years. They can achieve this. This isn't unrealistic. This isn't impossible. I don't think these people understand what unrealistic means. Unrealistic means you can't achieve it. You can achieve this. Anybody can achieve a body like this. It's not easy. It takes some dedication. But anybody can be healthy and achieve a body like this. Now, the one on the right, mind you, it's not terrible, but he's still pretty fat. And he's Superman. He's not supposed to be fat. He's supposed to be a Superman. Like, I don't know. There's just something about it. Whatever. Let's get to the next one. You guys get the gist. You get what I'm saying. Let's get to here. Okay, so we have this Kimura. I really don't know anything about her hero or who she is. I guess she's Guardians of the Galaxy because it says that on the cover. Spoiler warning, you guys might attack me for this. I haven't seen either of the Guardians of the Galaxies before. I'm not really a big fan of that. I know a lot of people are, just not for me. But anyways, like we did in the last one, we're gonna look at the original picture on the left first. I don't see how this is unrealistic. Like, she's not even like super thick or anything. Like, this is an average girl, an average girl who doesn't let herself go. Her hips. Okay, someone like in animation, when I think of unrealistic depictions of women, I think of like Nami from One Piece. Her waist is so thin that if that was an actual body, she would break at around the waistline. She would break right there like a toothpick because her top weight would just like fall over. There's not enough support there. There's plenty of support here. Her waist is plenty round enough. That's realistic. That's if someone was skinny, that's how their waist. That's about the ratio of the waist size would be, and then her hips. They're not anything crazy, but once again, if you compare it to her hip size and her shoulders, her proportions, it looks completely proportional. That's not unrealistic. But once again, we have on the right picture, we have them trying to turn her fat, saying fat is the only realistic body type. Apparently, if it's not fat, then it's not realistic. Apparently, this is a organization. This isn't even a .com, mind you. This is a .org. This is an organization that is funded for the purpose of helping people with mental issues and with problems. And instead of trying to help them get through it and fix it, they're trying to tell them basically they're enabling. They're telling them their problem isn't a problem. I mean, I guess it's because they're not glorifying anorexia, but obesity isn't any better. Like, if these people would have been, if they would have scaled Superman's muscles down, I would still be not okay with it because the way they word it, or how they said it's unrealistic, because it's not. This isn't unrealistic. That last picture of Superman is not unrealistic. It's more difficult. It's unrealistic to expect everybody to look that way. But it's not an unrealistic body type in general. So if they did two things for this, if they reword it from unrealistic to average, like being like, we want to make these people's bodies the average body type, the norm, what a norm should be for a human being. And if they had some of these characters be skinny and then others be fat and others be in the middle, I'd be completely okay with this article. I would have no real issues with it. But notice how they just keep on trying to make them fat. And then they try and call being fit unrealistic. Next picture. Aquaman. Okay, so we pretty much already... I don't know. Like, the one on the left, his legs are skinny. Like, it looks like he's been skipping leg day. Like, that's not... And his top, like, you can kind of see a little bit of his rib a little bit, and it looks like he probably has, like, a 4-pack or something. It's nothing crazy. Anyone who is in any kind of shape would have a torso like that. And I mean, his arms are about the same size mine are, and I just recently started getting back into the gym hard and lifting and stuff. So I mean, he's not unrealistic at all. Like, this is like the most realistic, one of the most realistic depictions of a superhero I've actually ever seen. And then of course, once again, they turn him fat. They get rid of all the muscle. They turn him fat. His legs get big. So there's that. There you go, Aquaman. Quote unquote realistic. And you got Harley Quinn. Okay, once again, they turn her into a tub of lard, pretty much, right here. But the one on the left, I mean, her boobs are big, but they're not unrealistically big for her proportions. You have her stomach. She has a 6-pack. She's in shape. She is usually a supervillain. I know they have her in her own comics now, so I don't know if she's actually still a villain or if they're trying to repaint her as more of a hero because of how popular she is. I'm not really reading her comics or anything like that. But from what I know in the past, growing up, being a Batman fan, watching her, whether she's a hero or a villain or not, she's still running around in Gotham, throwing huge mallets to try and stop Batman, attack Batman and stuff. Does not parkour like Robin and Batman do, but does her fair share of it. She's not gonna be fat. She can't be fat. The six pack makes sense. I mean, unless you're looking at a woman who's had like 6 kids and refuses to work out, most women at least have like a 2 to 4 pack. A lot of them have a 6 pack, especially if they're more fit, like a character like Harley Quinn would be. This isn't unrealistic. Once again, her hips. She has some hips, but all women have fucking some hips. They're not crazy. Once again, they're completely proportional to her body, and her waist is actually less small than a chick from that Gamora or whatever, the chick from the Guardian of the Galaxy was. There is nothing wrong with the left depiction of Harley Quinn here, but then for some reason they decided that's an unrealistic body type, so she has to be fat. I don't get it. That makes no sense. And then we get to the biggest offender right here, Black Panther. What do I have to say about this? If I was an SJW, which I'm not, because they're defending this article. They think this article is a good thing. But why'd they have to make the black man become the fattest character? You know what I'm saying? Look how fat he is. That is insanity. But anyways, anyone who's actually watched Black Panther, anyone who knows anything about Black Panther, he's a fucking African warrior. He's not gonna fucking be fat. And once again, look at him. His arms they're not even that big. They're fit. He looks fit. He looks freaking fit. Nothing about this picture. Like, he doesn't even have a bodybuilder body. He just has someone who lifts casually and eats right. That's the kind of body he has here. This isn't unrealistic at all. And once again, they didn't make him less muscular. They just made him fucking fat. They threw a bunch of fat over the muscles. Black Widow. Okay. I can kind of see the left picture here, because her waist is really small. Or her, not her waist. Her stomach. I've been saying waist this whole thing. You get the first thing I say has been stomach, and then the second one I've been referring to her hips, right? That when I say waist, that's what I meant. So her actual stomach, or the region right above her hips, is kind of small here. At least it looks like it. They gave her some pretty decently sized chesticles for her proportions. So, I mean, this is just a cover, so this is just trying to sell the comic book, so it doesn't necessarily mean that's the way she's depicted in the actual comic. But we can only judge this cover, and on this cover, yeah, her chest is a little bit big proportionally. I can't really see her waist, but that's probably because it is smaller than that one boob that's hanging over it. So this probably is pretty small. And then the hips, whereas they are not necessarily unrealistic, the hips themselves, just talking about the hips, aren't necessarily unrealistic. They are artistically designed to be more hourglassy, to have more of an hourglass kind of figure kind of thing going on there. But once again, they didn't even try to just even her out. No, they just made her fat. That's it. That's all they did. They didn't even her out. They just made her fat. And that's my issue there. And then we get the biggest offender for the female characters on this next one right here. Look at the one on the left. What is unrealistic about that? She has the white was just looking at, once again, the waist / stomach region that I just got done talking about, right above the hips. She probably has one of the widest ones that I've seen on a drawn character that's not fat. And her hips are only a little bit wider than her stomach. And yeah, she doesn't have huge breasts. Her arms aren't super skinny. There's literally nothing unrealistic about her at all. But for some reason, they decided to go ahead and make her fat anyways over the right. They made her fatter. And the funny thing is they made her fatter, and she still doesn't look that different, other than the fact they gave her a double chin and they made they made her like a little bit thicker in certain areas. Other than that, she pretty much looks like the same character. That's pretty fucking telling. That's pretty telling. It was like, you didn't even have to touch this one, but you decided to anyways. Okay, and Captain Marvel. Okay, so here we go. I don't know if they realized that Captain Marvel is a female because looking at her right here, she just looks like a fit woman. She barely has any hips. She has some because she is a woman. All women have hips, but she barely has any. Her legs look like she does some leg lifts, but not a whole lot. And yeah, like I said, her stomach is, or waist or whatever you want to call it, is actually pretty close to what her hips are. So like yeah, I mean, and she doesn't really even have a chest at all. She looks like the least unrealistic out of all of them. Once again, this is the perfect example of what I was saying earlier. She just looks fit. That's it. She looks fit. She looks like she's fit. That is all. But then they made her fat for no fucking reason over to the right. And then we got Spider-Man's my man. Okay, he is my favorite superhero of all time. We got Spider-Man. Okay, and first of all, people don't understand, Spider-Man does parkour all the time. He swings on webs and climbs building tops and does parkour across the building roofs, the tops. I just repeated myself. That's awesome. But anyways, it makes sense for him to be what he is, and how much agility he has, how athletic he is. It makes sense. But then no, they give him a stomach so big that it's actually splitting down the middle. If you kind of see it splitting at the seams down the middle right there. And then they made him wider, and it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And once again, Spider-Man is actually someone who is the perfect example of an average-looking person. Like look at the picture on the left. His muscles aren't huge. He's just cut. Okay, he's not overly huge. He doesn't look like a bodybuilder. He's just your average-sized person with some muscles. That's it. What's so unrealistic about that? And then when you add in the fact that it doesn't look unrealistic at all, you also factor in the fact that with what he does, it makes sense that he would have that kind of body type. But no, they just make him fat just because they want to enable kids to be unhealthy. And then we got this is the biggest what the fuck of them all. We got Cyborg here. Did they even realize what a cyborg is? Did they do any research into this? He's mostly machine. That abdominal region right there, there we go, abdominal. I need to say words correctly, English. Anyways, it's robotics. It's machinery. It makes no sense. There's a reason why it's built like that. Yeah, if I had to have a mostly, machine body, you bet your ass I'm going to have one that at least looks like similar to what a bodybuilder would be. So yes, if this was skin, and I think they think he's just in an outfit. I think that's what it is. They think he's just in an outfit, but that's not the case. That's his body right there. So if he was in a situation where this was just a suit and that was the actual size they were trying to depict of his body, yes, only bodybuilders are going to have a body like that. But the thing is that's not an actual genetic body. That's a robotic body. He's got I think he's got a heart, and there's a couple organs and muscles that are still hanging around, and obviously in his head, the little bit of skin he has left on his face and in his brain. But everything else is robotics. It's not real. So it makes no sense just to make his robotics look fat. Like, why? That makes no goddamn sense at all. Do these people know what the... This tells me they didn't even put any research into this video. Anyways, with that, we are done with this video. Hopefully the sound actually recorded this time so I don't have to do it again. And that is all. As you can see, it's a bunch of bullshit. It's a bunch of pandering, and it's a bunch of enabling for kids to be unhealthy. And go figure, if you look at this right here, it's women. The women section. So feminism strikes again. Gotta love it. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. As always, this has been Solid Shepard, and until next time, I should go.